But if there's one guy who's real in everything he does, it's Mr. Mike Shook. And I guess when I heard the theme for this evening, I was thinking fire and ice. Well, that's basketball. Shook's football. We need to come up with another theme for him. But as we think about our businesses and what we can do to emulate some of the success stories here in our community, Mike is a fabulous case study. Been in public and private entities since 1982. Currently the Managing Partner of Accelerence. It's a business services firm that's dedicated to helping early-stage companies get up and going and convert what might otherwise be products into businesses. Mike was a founder of Strategic Technologies, small electronics company that started out, I guess, selling computers and miscellaneous things for the office and turned into a blockbuster $100 million plus corporation. Mike attended the University of North Texas, and he has a Bachelor of Science degree from there, and also SUNY in New York. Please help me welcome Mike Shook.
Might add that Wyrick Robbins has been our attorneys for 23 years, so this is an old dear friend. Thank you very much, Victor, and the SmartCore team for letting me join you. And it's really a privilege to be able to talk to everybody, and particularly see some old friends that I haven't seen in a while, and to see some people that I have worked with that are very dear to me. So great to see everybody. Today, I think part of the subject matter was to make sure that we address things that speak to the entire audience, so I want to make sure I do that. So I know there's small companies in here and larger companies, and I have been the president of a company that was about 10 people and about $1 million in sales, and conversely, a company with 400 people and $120 million in sales. So I hope the things that we're going to talk about kind of give you some context into maybe it touches you. This is a time that we can all kind of learn from each other. So I look forward to cocktail hour that I can share ideas with you, and you can and you'll hear me for a few minutes. But let me give you a little context about my background. The only reason is I want to leave you with 3 or 4 points that I think that really stick in my mind as you build your businesses and as you continue to be successful. There's probably 3 or 4 points that I think are really germane. As a quick background, started a company in '88, grew it to about $120 million. Sold it to a private equity group in 2007. The company's now publicly traded. It was really in the IT space, architecting, planning, designing the infrastructure that goes into data centers, then migrating to doing managed services, doing a large consulting business, all the way to having our own data centers where we took our customers' assets, put in our data centers, and actually did cloud computing, really becoming our customers' IT department. So that's kind of the background. When you sell a company to a private equity group, it's probably good after about 3 or 4 years that you get out of town. And as a majority owner, and then all of a sudden someone else owns the business. So we left, started a new company where we work closely with small technology companies, get actively involved with them, maybe make a small equity investment, but it's more bringing the execution to the table, commercialization, how do we grow and scale the business and help them do that. So that's kind of my background, and things I would leave with all of you that I think are so important. You know, Victor said, and Van said, pick 3 or 4 things that you think that you can pass on. Some of these things were passed on to me, but they stuck. The first issue is, I think, how do we all evolve? How does your business evolve? How do we personally, Fred Fletcher, how do we evolve over the years? And I look at myself, and one juncture I was a president of $1 million company and then a $100 million company. I think the message is I have to evolve, and I can't be doing the same things I did when I was running $1 million company. So the question I always had, number one, we didn't want an exit strategy. We wanted to build something to last. So our whole thing is, how do I evolve? So if the things that I'm doing as a $1 million company, I'm unloading trucks, I'm doing all the things that you have to do, and say that's $100 an hour work. If I'm a $100 million company and I'm publicly traded, I better be doing $1,000 an hour work. So the same reflection I have of myself, I think you have to have in our employees. And you have a professional services organization, and you say, okay, we're billing out these young people at $150 an hour. How do we get them to $300 an hour? It's good for the company. It's good for them. They make more money. And guess what? If you're delivering excellence to the customer's thrilled. So I think all these things, how do you personally evolve, and how does your company evolve, and I look at our business, and we start off as a reseller, and if you're trying to build value, and we're all trying to build value, no one rewards you for selling someone else's product. You have to lead with your own intellectual property. So how you build a base around that? We worked hard to say build value, build company value, and how do you do that? So it's the whole thing of evolving. As all of you have said, this whole thing's it's about people. It's to me, you want to win. You can't have your smartest and brightest. Brent Wall is our chief technology officer at Consonis, one of the brightest guys. You can't have guys like that walking out of the business, and you can't have gals, your CFOs that are wonderful people walking out of the business. So how do you hire well? How do you train well? How do you develop well? How do you promote? How do you retain? How do you keep the smartest people in the business? Particularly, all of us lead with thought leadership. That's what we do. That's our business. That's our unique differential, right? So how do we do those things? So I think that's a critical. So the first part, is this whole thing about how do you get you and your team and your people to evolve? How do you get the best people in town? And the tough thing, how do you really say, we bring someone into these doors, we're going to scrutinize the heck out. We're going to make sure they fit from a technology perspective, or that they have this mental skill set, but they also fit the culture. Because everybody has a culture. If you don't fit the culture, you're going to get expunged from the system. So how do you make that decision? So I'd say choose wisely, choose judiciously when you hire people, because that is your value add. Fire fast. Someone's not working, fire fast. Get them out of the business. Some of the mistakes we've made, we take people and we keep saying, manana, manana, manana. When something's not working, it's gut in your stomach, you need to get them out of the business, okay? And a lot of us don't do that fast enough and quick enough. The last thing I would say, is probably pivoting. I think if you talk to venture capitalists and private equity folks, might be a much overused word, but this notion of, you have a strategy and you work hard on the strategy, and all of a sudden someone supersedes you and you're not able to differentiate. How do you quickly pivot? How do you move right? And how do you have a growth cycle in your company, and then there's always inflection points where it's a mature technology. How do you reinvent yourself? So how do you hit those inflection points? So, and how do you have plans and execute? I'm always reminded of, when you talk about pivoting, remember Mike Tyson was being interviewed by a sports columnist, and the sports columnist says, Mike, do these people that fight you have a plan? And Mike says, they have a plan until I smack them in the face. So the message we all get smacked in the face, don't we? You got a great plan, and all of a sudden, we've worked so darn hard, we've done customer analysis and user groups, and guess what? We got the wrong plan. How do you boogie right, or how do you boogie left and win? So I would leave you with those things. I look forward to chatting with everybody over the next 30 or 45 minutes. Thanks.